Back now to our coverage of the federal budget, and MPs are opening 4 days of debate today on that document. And for more, let's bring in CTV's Mackenzie Gray. He joins us live from our Ottawa bureau. Mackenzie, thanks for being here this afternoon. So day one of sort of debate over the budget begins today, but I mean, effectively, the Liberals know this is going to pass.
Jagmeet Singh has already come out, Nick, and said the NDP is going to support the budget. The deal that the Liberals and the NDP have is going to hold. This was the first real test, and it is no surprise to see Mr. Singh and the NDP are going to be propping the Liberals up with this budget. And this is a big change. Normally, in a minority parliament, in these first couple days after the budget, there's always some horse trading. Are the other parties going to support it? Are the Liberals going to have to make amendments? There's no concern about that right now because in the budget, Justin Trudeau put forward two key things that Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the NDP, has been looking for. There's a plan in there for dental care. There's going to be some kind of phased in over the next 5 years, about $3 to $4 billion put forward in that. And then pharmacare, another one of the big things that the NDP have been looking for. The Liberals said in the budget by 2023, there's going to be a blueprint for that. They're going to be working with the provinces to buy more drugs. So those are the things that Jagmeet Singh's look for, which means that it's smooth sailing here for Mr. Trudeau to get his budget passed.
Right. So, Mackenzie, we know the Conservatives have come out and said yesterday, Candice Bergen, the interim leader, said this was a very irresponsible budget. Is there anything that the Conservatives can do during the debate over these next 4 days of debate? I realize it's one, then a break, then three more. But is there anything the Conservatives do to change anything in this budget?
There's obviously procedural tricks. There's always different things in the House of Commons you can do to kind of slow things down, but Ms. Bergen knows that inevitably it's going to be passed. And look, there are some things in the budget that the Conservatives said that they were happy with. You know, there is a big increase in defense spending. It's not as high as the Conservatives would have liked, but there are some things there that Ms. Bergen said that she could support. So I don't think we're going to be seeing the opposition parties holding the budget up too much. They know it's a done deal. They're going to be focusing on other things like inflation, and they're going to want to have these measures passed too, Nick. You look at some of the housing stuff that it's in here. You know, even yesterday, Chrystia Freeland, the finance minister, admitted this is not a silver bullet. It's not going to automatically be able to help housing prices. So I think if you're the Conservatives, they might want this budget passed to say, hey, the things that the Liberals just did in the budget for housing aren't actually helping that much.
Interesting. So I wonder then, Mackenzie, you know, we know, Jagmeet Singh says his caucus is in. Are there any NDP MPs who are grumbling on the side saying, you know, I don't really want to support it, but I have to go along with it? Or as far as you're hearing, is it effectively unanimously they're with it?
I mean, the one thing that we were all kind of wondering about here in Ottawa was, could the NDP stomach a big increase in defense spending? You know, we've heard from Mr. Singh saying there's 2% of GDP, this NATO target that we've been talking a lot about with the war in Ukraine going on right now. He says that's just arbitrary, but there are certain things that he'd be okay with increasing in defense spending. You know, yesterday in the budget, it wasn't very specific. It was just half a page saying, you know, we've got $7.2 billion in new funding over the next 5 years for the Canadian Armed Forces, and we're going to let them decide what the spending's on. So again, that could be the only real thing I see in the budget that would trip things up. But Mr. Singh's already come out yesterday in his press conference. The first question was asked to him, can you support this? He came out and clearly said that he could. So it's a done deal, a big win for Mr. Trudeau to have his budget, you know, basically, it's not passed yet, but it's going to pass through very smoothly compared to other budgets that he's had to deal with.
Can you just quickly, Mackenzie, just give us the timeline? 1 day today, then how long is the break? And then they come back for three more. So when should the budget officially pass?
Well, it takes a lot longer than that, too. It's got to go to committee at different points in time. It's got to go in through the Senate. There's going to be studies. So at no point, you know, in the next little bit should anybody be expecting that some of the housing measures in here, you know, this new $40,000 tax-free account, you know, an increase in the home buyer's tax credit. There's this $500, you know, that they're going to hand out to people who are dealing with housing affordability. Those things are down the line, you know, just for the $40,000 account, Nick, for people who are watching. They're expecting that to be in place by 2023. So budgets take months to pass. So this isn't going to be something that gets done quickly, you know, but, you know, politically, when you're thinking about the maneuvering that needs to be done and where the focus can kind of move to other bills, that's where the government and where the NDP are going to be looking to push the government on getting some of the other priorities that they have in their deal dealt with.
You bet. Okay, well, thanks for breaking it down for us. CTV's Mackenzie Gray in Ottawa. Appreciate the time, Mackenzie.
Thanks, Nick.
Okay.